Hello, we are live again and we are beginning with this session with PTIX. PTIX at some point in this session was up about 110%. Currently it is up 63.32%. So let's look at all the ones. Obln, Obln Therapeutics up 35%. Let's see who's here. Thank you very much for joining us. Give us a thumbs up, a super chat if you can. Thank you very much. So Obln is up 33.8% currently. Prpo up 41.67%. Okay, so some of these stocks we're going to go back and find out why they are extending right now. Polaritite Inc. is up 21.13%, trading below all of its short and intermediate trend lines. Momentum is trying to increase or improve based on this 1-minute live session. And the next one is Efoi Energy Focus, is up 8.88%. Semilets is up 26.48%. Currently trading, rather it's currently converged with its 50-day trend line. Q Biopharm is up 30.77% currently. Tgls Technoglass Inc. up 28.323%. You can see that it's currently trading below all of its short and intermediate trend lines at the moment. Soly Inc. is up 24.78%, just pulling back now below its short-term below its 10-day trend line. Has re-extended again, back again. Signals are all very much bullish, but we can't see the 200-day trend line. It's probably up somewhere or down somewhere. We can't exactly visualize it at the moment. We can't see it right now. Select Interior Concepts up 18.09%. If you just joined us, thank you very much. So currently this is Ethereum. It's retracing, trading below its short and intermediate trend lines. So let's look at Doge. Doge is trading in between those trend lines, between the short and intermediate trend lines. This is the intermediate, these two are the short-term ones. So let's see what's going on, what's behind PTIX. PTIX, there isn't any news. Yes, we know that there isn't any news behind PTIX's extension. So let's look at Obln. Obln. Let's see what's driving it. Obln is Okay, there isn't any fresh news, so it could just be one of those stocks that are extended without any news. So let's see what's going on here. As at the 7th of May, which was the last trading session, this stock was presenting a good buying opportunity, trading below all of its short and intermediate trend lines. Today it has just converged with its 200-day trend line, and we have it. Yes, the price rose above 50-day trend line during this session. So okay, so let's see what else. Obln Prpo Prpo Diagnostics is up 34.9%. Let's see whether there's anything behind this move. Prpo. Okay, Prpo launches new Hcmc panel for AML with unparalleled 4-hour turnaround time. Let's have a look. This is news from today. Okay, Prpo Inc. announced that it has launched a new 4-hour acute myeloid leukemia heme screen panel to specifically determine the genetics of this aggressive acute form of leukemia. When physicians are armed with the genetic character of the disease, they can rapidly and precisely select the most effective targeted therapeutic treatment. Beyond the important clinical utility and substantial impact to patient care described below, this panel is expected to increase revenues to oncology physician office laboratories by approximately 10%, subject to patient volume, and it is expected to similarly increase Prpo's revenue from existing and future oncology POL and other laboratory customers who incorporate this panel to their operations. The addition of this panel further demonstrates the potential Hcmc screen and the POL model, whereby an existing installed customer base as well as Prpo benefit from the continued development and introduction of new panels by Prpo's R&D team. So this is some positive news we are getting here concerning Prpo, and we can see that as at the 7th, of, which was the last trading session, 7th of May, it had retraced down to $3.87, but today now has extended again by $5.19. So earnings are expected on the 13th of May. So estimates from one analyst is a negative $0.1 and an increase of 87.18% from the same period a year ago. Revenue estimates is $3.11 million, a $1.90 million increase from the same period a year ago. So those are just estimates. So Prpo up roughly 36%. So let's look at PTE. Polaritite Inc. currently up 21.13%. So let's see what's behind this as well. I think we have had a look at PTE, but let's do it again. PTE. It's a biotech company. Volume spiked today as well. Trading volume exceeded the 10-day average of 5.972 million shares by 504.17%. Price crossed above 50-day moving average. Price crossed above 200-day moving average. All of these happened today. So you see, as at the 7th, it was just converged. It had just converged with its 10-day trend line. Is that a 10-day trend line? I think we have. Yeah, it had just converged with its 10-day and the 10-day, I believe, the 20-day trend line over there. So what's the news? What's the news? Yes, there's a news, some piece of news here. Polarity TE trial on skin TE for diabetic foot ulcers meets primary, secondary, and endpoints. Shares rise pre-bell. Okay, its trial evaluating skin TE plus standard of care as a potential treatment for diabetic foot ulcers has met both its primary and secondary endpoints. Based on the preliminary results, 70% of patients receiving skin TE plus the standard of care had wound closure at 12 weeks, compared with 34% of the patients that have wound closure receiving only the standard of care. The percent area of reduction at 12 weeks was also significantly greater for the skin TE plus standard of care patient group at 84.4% versus the standard of care patient group at 53.3%. So those are the positive outcomes for polarity, for Polaritite Inc. Up 25, 22, roughly 23%. So the next one is EFOI. Energy Focus up 7.52%. Energy Focus, I think, has lost some value. EFOI. Thank you very much. If you have just joined us, give us a thumbs up, super chat, whatever it is you can do. Drop us a line there. We can look at the stocks you want us to have a look at. Energy Focus up 7.74%. Price moved above 50-day moving average. That was not today, that was in the previous session. Okay, there isn't any news there concerning Energy Focus. So we can see Blsp is up 3.45%. At some point it was up 10%. So let's dive in and have a look at Blsp, Blsp. Blsp is super penny stock, up 1.72%. So this is the live feed. Currently up now 8.62%. Not as active as a lot of stocks we've seen of late. Has just converged with its volume weighted average price. Let's look at the daily model and see what's going on for Blsp. Okay, has been extending and just converged with its volume weighted average price, and just not far away from its 50-day trend line as well. So let's look at Hcmc. Hcmc is down 15%, down 10%. Let's look at the 1 minute model, see what's going on. Let's look at the this tick. Okay, yes, want us to have a look at Prpo. Okay, we will just do that. Prpo, 1 minute. Prpo diagnostics up 35.39%. Okay, we can see currently based on this 1 minute model, it's trading in between its 10 and 20-day trend line, above its 50-day trend line, also above its volume weighted average price. So I think there was some positive outcomes, and I think they have yeah, we've just covered it briefly, so I want to get back to the news. They have some good news there concerning it. Prpo, it says it launches new Hcmc panel for acute myeloma leukemia. Yeah, so that's the news behind that move we're looking at right now. So, but technically, obviously, you may have you probably are aware, as at the end of May, well, that was the best time. That was the end of the best opportunity to get involved, and it extended and pulled back from the 5th of May, from the 4th of May, started to pull back and cool down to $3.86 as at Friday the 7th, but it has since now extended based on with this positive outcome, with this positive news. So looking at this now, we can see the signals are all very much bullish. The 14 period slow stochastic oscillator rising. So let's look at the daily model and see. Obviously the daily model will reflect very much what we just saw over there. You can see, so it's round up a huge amount of gain right now. So I mean, it depends on what you're looking at. Do you want to, I believe you have a position there already, but if you don't have a position in Prpo, I would simply urge you to just hold on, and there's a good chance it's going to pull back and correct. Even though it corrected a bit. Would I call that a correction? 5.27 down to 3. Yeah, pretty much a correction, but it still wasn't. Still at that with that correction, it was still trading at a premium, at a slight premium to its short-term trend lines. But if you want to disregard that, and also disregard what's going on right now, this extension of 38%, by all means, you can do so. But I will still urge you just be careful, just hold on. It's very hot right now, It's really hot, almost 40% extension. And the opportunity may arise again for you to get involved, unless you want to day trade. And if he pulls back, we can see it did pull back, below its short-term trend lines at some point during the session, and at some point as well below the 50-day trend line, but that was earlier in the session. But so far that 50-day trend line has not come that close of late, at least over the last 20 minutes. So it depends on what you're looking at right now concerning Prpo. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Price biscuit. You want us to have a look at SOS? Okay, let's go and look at SOS. SOS down 3.81% currently, but extending, broken through the 50-day trend line, so 200-day trend line, extending. The signals are all very much bullish, so we can see the fact that it's broken through this 200-day trend line. It's definitely reminds us that it has, at some point, it was really, it was worse than what it was right now. It was worse than this, so it's extending now. MACD is above the signal line, and let's look at the daily model. Let's see if the bigger picture is something better. Currently it's trading below, yes, all of its short and intermediate trend lines. So the consolidation and the sideways movement that has occurred with SOS, I think, has now since presented a decent buying opportunity, I think. Let's have a look over here. Let's have a look at on the website and see. Let's have a look at SOS here. Market cap of 701.9 million. You can see what's going on here. See, at some point we set up this Fibonacci extension and retracement levels. It has since retraced from that level, and when we drew that, it was at $4.45. So we can see it has retraced to $3.77. Okay, so we can see if you're comfortable with the fundamentals and everything, if you're comfortable with all that's going on with it, and you want to get involved, I think the opportunity is now. If you still want to hold on for it to retrace a lot further, by all means do so. There's some piece of news that came out as at last Friday. It says SOS completes phase 1 of the Libodong mine. You must have read that. Said it has completed the first phase of Libodong mine, and the 575 sets of other cryptocurrency mining rigs have been delivered. The company said it expects to complete inspection and installation of the rigs in the near future. Once installation and full online operation of the mining rigs are complete, the company expects to obtain approximately 400 gigahash of Ether hash, according to a statement. So, but even at that, the skeptics are not impressed. So SOS trading at 3.76. I think the opportunity is there now to get involved. So if you're confident, if you want to get involved, just test the waters with a small amount of money. I would say the let's try and see the volume, what's going on volume wise. Let's see on this daily model. I think 10 million so far, 10.153 million so far. Let's see whether we can get any comparison. Okay, today's volume is on track to be heavier than usual with 10.107 million shares having traded so far. The unbalanced volume indicator is bearish. The stop of indicator is negative and suggests that there is a lack of buying interest. Okay, so there's a lack of buying interest. Okay, and the stock is retracing, so people are probably taking money off the table. Investors are selling shares. So I think those are yes, bearish signals, obviously. But if the bears keep on doing whatever they're doing, you have to do the opposite of what they're doing. So it's just a validation that opportunity is gradually building up there. It's consolidating. The opportunity to buy, the dip is there now, and the more if they continues to retrace, the more they remove their money. Other market participants sell their shares. The opportunity to get involved, continues to improve. So if they take the money off, they're still gonna come back at some point. So yeah. So Alex, you say you bought when Amazon and now? Not sure what you mean by that. Okay, let's see what's going on with Doge. Doge is trading just above its 10-day trend line, below the 20-day, and also below the 50-day trend line. So SOS down 4.32% currently. Let's see what other stocks are doing. Blsp up 8.62% currently. Ptix up 85.44%. At some point it retraced down to 66%, and so it has since gained up to 20% since that time. And also during just early in the session of today, it reached 110%. At some point the trading was halted at 70%, and I was expecting it to retrace, but it didn't retrace. And once the halting ended, the stock moved on. In due course we'll find out what's behind this Ptix extension. So let's see if we can get any more news concerning it. Ptix stock. Still the same old news. From Investor Place. Extending on no news. Yeah, okay. The spike a few days ago at 7.5, now it's 4.7. Okay, for which one? For which stock is that, Alex? What are you talking about? Is it Prpo? Okay, let's look at Obln or BLN. Up 43% for 3.18% currently. All bunched up with its short-term trend lines, just cooling down a bit. You can visibly see the 200-day trend line. Momentum is getting tired, marked D below the signal line. You can see that. PTE. Polaritite extending again. You can see it's at some point based on this 1 minute model. It got some support from the 200-day trend line, but has since, it seems that was a bottom and has since extended down. Efoi, energy focus. Energy focus down 7 point, or rather up 7.06%. Semi-LEDs up 25.41%. Can also see, yeah, the 200-day trend line is also visible on this 1 minute model as well, and at some point it broke through it of late. Suddenly the trend line appeared as at what would that be, about 1 hour ago. Suddenly that trend line appeared, and then it fell through it, and this will be, for so many market participants, this is a good opportunity. Those who are day trading, this is very nice. You can see how nicely retraced below all of its trend lines it was, and you know, they just got involved. The stock extended, moved sideways again, and extended again. But for some reason, that 200-day trend line is so steep. The slope is really steep, and it has, you know, not been able to challenge it again for some time now. Momentum is it's waning. Like these soon going to fall below the signal line. So semi-LEDs, we don't exactly know. Let's find out what's going on with this stock, semi-LEDs. Okay, saying okay. To cover losses, plan to sell at 9. You think it can get there? Okay, so you plan to sell at 9. Okay, let's have a look at Prpo. Okay, let's look at a daily model. Has it ever reached there? of late it has okay, let me see now. The volume is currently at 54, currently roughly 55 million shares. Let's see, Prpo, do we have it here? Yeah, we have Prpo here. We want to see if I want to see if what sort of volume, what sort of how the current volume compares with what's, you know, with its regular average. So 10-day average is 65 million, and we already have 56 million. There's a good chance it's gonna say today's last 10 days have significant volume in Prpo. The average daily volume, with average daily volume above the average for the last year. Today's volume is no exception, with 54.694 million shares having traded already. The unbalanced volume indicator is bullish. The slope of the indicator is positive and suggests that buyers are presently more active than sellers. Okay, so buyers are presently more active than sellers. Yeah. What I can see about that is that there's a good chance that if you depending on where you bought the stock from, at what price you got it at, yeah, you can always hold on to see where it's going to get to, whether it's going to get to up to 9 or thereabout. But there's a good chance that in the coming session we might see a retracement, because the volume is very high. And what it can imply is that, or what usually happens, is that when you have this above average volume, there's a good chance that the people who are in the stock are likely to go away. So you would say, what are they going to go away at that point? Going away, would it be they just leave it there and go do other things, or would they take money off the table? So that's the question. Would they take money off the table? And we actually saw that. We saw that last week. As at the 4th, rather from the 3rd, it extended nicely, significantly, and seriously. At that time, it was it had the opportunity was there. I think from the 30th of April. So and yes, well, quite well. Would it extend to that? I think there's a good chance it can get up to that, but you have to be patient. And if you want it to reach that 9, you have to be really patient. Maybe in the coming days it could do that. It could also take a few weeks as well. So but I think also, what's going to happen is, if it consolidates, that the chance that it will happen will be there. But I mean, this is going by what it has done before. If that is any indication or any indicator, I can see that extended, retraced. So there's a good chance that can happen again, because this is a second opportunity, and added to the high volume as well. So do you want to wait and see? My theory is that if it pulls back and consolidates, there's a good chance that it will extend again. If it comes up with it came up with some news today. So, and the last time it came up with some news probably was on the 30th, which was about 2 weeks ago, thereabouts. So yes, there's every chance it can extend to $9. There's every chance. So, but my theory is that a pullback, if it pulls back and trades at a discount to some of these short-term trend lines, then it will open the door for more participants to more participants who will be encouraged by the sort of price it will be trading at. So, but note also that consolidation may not necessarily mean that it will fall all the way down. It could just stay there and just move quietly, slightly sideways, and then these short and intermediate trend lines, especially short ones, may just catch up. And as they did here, you can see, so yeah, I mean, based on that, I think there's a good chance that can happen. But at the same time as well, it has had 2 weeks of positive outcomes. There's a good chance again that in the coming weeks it will announce yet more positive outcomes. But in the meantime as well, subsequent sessions, which may from tomorrow, they may retrace and all that. So it depends on how you want to balance all of that out. Whether you'll be willing to wait and see what's going to come out. Yeah. Okay. You want us to have a look at OCGN. Okay. Alex will always, let's look at OCGN. We'll always come back to PRP. Let's look at OCGN. Okay, OCGN up 8.66% currently. This is the daily model. So it's trading slightly at a slight trading in between its short-term trend lines. So yeah, it has actually pulled back and got some support from that 20-day trend line. So this is the daily model. So for the trading at a discount to its 10-day trend line. So yeah, so it depends on what you want to do. Do you want to buy it? Do you want to buy or sell OCGN? You can see based on the live model, it's trading at a discount to those 10-day short-term trend lines. The signal, the indicators are all bullish, the trend lines are all bullish, but currently the momentum is not strong at all. MACD below the signal line. So in a very short term, for scalpers, this is a good time to see what they can pick up. So, but fundamentally, OCGN is there isn't any problem with the stock. So, but if you want to buy it, and it's not that bad at the moment, but at the same time as well, if you want to get involved, you can just put in a small amount of money, see how things turn out, because even though it's trading at a slight discount, it's 10-day trend line, it could even trade at a further discount, so yeah, that's what I can say about OCGN. Yeah, thank you, Alex. Yeah, OCGN. So let's look at okay, we looked at the 1-minute model. Let's look at a 10-minute model. For the 10-minute model, it has extended above those short and intermediate trend lines based on the 10-minute model. So let's return and look at the 1 minute again. So with this sort of news, with this sort of extension, 7.57%, let's see. Okay, I'm holding at an average of 830. Okay, 830, let's see. Okay, so that, what does that mean? You're not, if it gets to 830, you're gonna sell, or so let's see if there's any news here. I'm holding at an at average of 830. Okay, so there. Okay, earnings outcomes expected the 13th of August. Okay, $1.8 billion. Okay, there's some news here today. Let's see. Okay, price targets. Chardon adjusts price target on Okugen to $8 from $13. Okay, so that is an adjustment. So even at that, even with the adjustment, the stock is also extending. Maintains neutral rating. Okay, so let's have a look at the volume so far in this session. Today's volume is on track to be lighter than usual, with 54.194 million shares having traded so far. Okay, so at least it's not that the volume indicates at least that maybe more people might come in during this session or in subsequent sessions. The volume, not too many people have gotten involved, so when they come back and they see this extension of 8.117%, they might either maybe take money off the table, but I mean, what it simply indicates that they might get more involved. So I want to believe your $8.3 average is what is your limit, yeah. Oops, we're having an error right now. Okay, let's see what's going on with Prpo. Prpo up 33.6%, trading below all of its short and intermediate trend lines at the moment. So let's look at Ptix. Okay, it has lost some value again, retraced below its 200-day trend line. Another opportunity. It's creeping up on Ptix for scalpers, and at some point we saw it retrace down to about to 66%, and in a few minutes it extended to 84%. So there's a good chance this can happen again in this session. Momentum is flat at the moment, might be below the signal line. There isn't any news concerning protogenic therapeutics. Polaritite up 22.15% as well. They came out with a treatment for diabetic wounds, which is an improvement on the one they had before. So let's look at Q Biopharm up 30.13%, currently consolidating based on this 1-minute model. Tgls, Tgls extended by 25.08% currently, but bearish at the moment, trading below all of its trend lines, including the volume weighted average price, but we can't see the 200-day trend line, so we can't exactly say it is all of its trend lines at the moment, but it's retracing. So if it's currently at 24.26, so that means at some point it was higher than that, probably up to, let's say, 27%. So Tgls up 24.15%, but bearish at the moment. Soliton Inc. up 24.73%, trading below, or rather in between short-term trend lines, moving sideways at the moment. At some point it retraced below all of those short and intermediate trend lines, got some support from the 23.39 level, and since that time that's its last bottom. And you can see also that extension is also traced out in the momentum as well, MACD above signal line and slightly extending. Select Interior Concepts extended by 16.46%. You can see the 200-day trend line has appeared. Volume momentum is quite bullish at the moment, MACD above signal line and rising. So let's see what's going on with Doge. Doge is trading below all of its short and intermediate trend lines at the moment. So let's see what Ethereum is doing. Yeah, trading in between its 10 and 20-day trend line at the moment, and for this session it's quite bullish. It's been bullish for some time, nicely extending over there. Okay, let's look at SOS. SOS has retraced again, down 5.86% at the moment. Last time it traded below those shots, all of these short. What was the last time? Okay, well, that was probably sometime in this session, and after that it rose and extended. So technically it's a good buy. So you can see that. Let me show you. Technically it has retraced below all of its short and intermediate trend lines, apart from the long-term trend line. So the opportunity is improving as it continues to retrace. The dip opportunity is improving as more and more market participants lose their interest in SOS. If it retraces all the way down, I'm sure many market participants will not be happy about that. If it retraces all the way down to $1 and some fraction, or even $2 or thereabouts, or at least even below or somewhere closer to its 200-day trend line, the opportunity will even be better, will even be more handsome. So the 200-day trend line is trading at 3.31, so actually it's not that far from it. So even in this session, it can easily retrace all the way down there. So I think the short sellers must be, there's obviously a lot of skepticism towards SOS. Let's look at this. Normally we've been looking at naked shots or something like that. Let's okay, this is okay, today. Current short volume is, that is the shares, 23.48 million. Previous short volume is 15.38 million. Dollar volume sold short 112 million. Okay, so it's on roughly about not even up to 10% of its market cap. Yeah, that's still something. That's the amount of money that would eventually be forced back into the stock. Outstanding shares is 6.5 million. Average trading volume 58.63 million. Today's trading volume 154,000. Is that correct? Okay, so change over previous month 52.67%, so it has increased. So it should take about 0.3 days to cover all of those shots. So yes, certainly there is obviously you can see that 23.48 million shares are currently sold short. Okay, so but this is actually the 15th of April. So let's look at what we're going to see here. Will not be current, it will be for the last session. Okay, so 21.8%, so it's even at that, it's still a lot. 21.8%. That was for Friday, the 7th of May. Okay, let's see. Okay, SOS down 5.5%. Okay, we were looking at Blsp as well, Blsp down, rather up 6.9% currently. Trading above its short-term trend lines based on this 1-minute model, but has converged with its volume weighted average price. Momentum is strong. MACD is pushing its signal line. Hcmc down 20%. You can see that, trading below all of its short and all of its trend lines, including the long-term one, including the volume weighted average price. Let's look at the daily model for Hcmc. Yeah, for the daily model, it's trading at a discount to the short-term trend lines. Yeah, the short-term opportunity is improving. It's currently there at the moment. Momentum is flat. There isn't very much going on for Hcmc at the moment. Market participants are a bit tired, so I think in the very short time the opportunity is there for Hcmc. So let's return and look at Ptix, Protogenic Therapeutics, up 65% now. Obln, Obln Therapeutics, up 51.2, roughly 52%. Prpo, Prpo, up 32.29%. Polaritide Inc. up 24.19%, trading below its long-term trend lines but above its short and intermediate trend lines. Momentum is positive and extending. Efoi, Energy Focus up 3.19%. There's some news about a hacking of a pipeline. Let's look at this. Colonial pipeline hacking. 2 hours, the US passes emergency waiver over fuel pipeline cyber attack, which regret creating problems, says Colonial Petroleum pipeline hackers. Cyber attack sparks US effort to keep fuel lines open. So these are the tweets. FBI says dark sides behind Colonial pipeline hack. FBI sent out an internal bulletin Friday asking for any info on the criminal gang which has Eastern European ties. Meanwhile, Colonial says they hope to substantially restore operations by end of week. White House Homeland Security Advisor Elizabeth Sherwood Randall says Colonial Pipeline shut down its operations to prevent the hashtag ransomware from spreading from IT to OT networks. New statement from Colonial Pipeline at 12:25 p.m. Eastern Time says its goal of substantially restoring operational service by the end of the week following ransomware attack. Market Watch, Colonial Pipeline says it's aiming to substantially restore service this week. Market players are sorting out how to supply the US East Coast with refined fuel after the cyber attack disruption. And we obviously brought you a video earlier on in this session, earlier on today, concerning energy concerns and all that stuff, especially in the east of the US. Cyber, and then The Economist, a cyber attack has halted operations at Colonial Pipeline, one of America's largest arteries for refined fuels. Cyber crooks are becoming more effective and harder to catch. Here's why. And there's a piece here. So this is the piece on The Economist. Okay, so yeah, so we just wanted to see what's going on. That was because we are looking at this stock, energy focus. We don't exactly know what sort of energy it's all about, but I know it just brought to my memory the fact that we had this video earlier on today concerning energy and other stuff, pipelines, and we're pointing out that this summer is going to be a challenging one, and lo and behold, this came out today. As if we knew this is what's going to come out. Okay, so this is all about it. All about it. So thank you all very much for joining us in this session. We're just gonna call it a day at the moment. We will endeavor to come back again. Thank you very much.